You talked a lot about identity.
Hmm.
What does your upbringing, or what did your upbringing do to your identity with the being in the foster care, with the past of your parents, one being a drug dealer, one being a drug addict? What did the enemy try to do? What were the lies that the enemy told you about your identity?
Well, definitely that I wasn't loved, and that I wasn't wanted. He loved to use rejection and abandonment, and I feel like that's even where the 65 homes. I mean, there were more than 65 homes. I just stopped counting at 16. But he loved to use rejection and abandonment in my life. He used it in every avenue. Jobs. That I wasn't good enough, and the spirit of suicide, would try to visit me, and in those seasons of rejection and abandonment, that I felt like nobody cared, but God cared. He cared the whole time.
When did you find the truth that, what, God cares? For the woman that's out there watching your story, because I know when I was coming up and I was facing the spirit of rejection,
Yeah.
I never knew
Yeah.
that that's what I was battling.
Yeah.
So the great thing is that we're here exposing
Yeah.
rejection.
Yeah.
So what exactly did that look like in your life? You spoke on it a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you can go a little deeper for those women that may have that,
Yeah.
facing that same
Well, for me,
spirit.
me personally, I was an atheist. I didn't believe that God existed because at the age of 21, I had went through all of this. I went through the homes, the father of the 6 of my kids where it was very abusive. My life, was chaotic. I was in so much pain. I did not want to live, and I was going to kill myself. And I had a supernatural encounter with God, and I believe, and as a matter of fact, I'm very well aware it was an angel.
Yes.
And he came and he, touched me. And so, I was out, waiting for a ride. I just share a little story with you. And I was talking to God, and I told the Lord, if you're real, I need you to show me that you're real. Because
Yes.
tonight I had already planned I was going to kill myself, and I had bought the drugs. I had did everything. I was going to take X amount of ecstasy pills, and I was going to be off with my life. And I had went inside. I was sitting there waiting for my ride, and I wanted to get a pack of Newports and a Red Bull, and I ran into the gas station. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and if I can be completely transparent, I was actually waiting for. I was working. I was on the track. I was prostituting myself, and I went inside, but I was waiting for my ride to come pick me up. And I said, "Let me run in here real quick and grab a pack of cigarettes and a Red Bull." And I ran inside, grabbed the cigarettes, came back, and I was sitting on this bench, and there was nobody on the bench. It was like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was nobody there. No buses were running, and there was a track. I don't know if you're familiar with the
Yes.
old chick tracks.
I'm old enough.
Yeah. And so, I just read the story, and I read the, Jesus, invite him into your heart.
Wow.
And I said, okay, if this is you, I, read the little thing. I invited him to my life, and I said, if you're real, I need you to show me you're real.
Yes.
And so got up from there, got my ride came, went to my friend's house, and I was sitting there, and I was going to kill myself. And I was about to take all of these pills in my hand, and I seen a light from a distance, and it was a twinkle. It was like a little itty bitty twinkle.
Yes.
And it came to me, and as it came to me, it just was this big orb, and it just grew and grew
Yes.
and grew.